Hi guys, I thought I would come outside. It was starting to get pretty bad in there. After, they target your stomach usually after you eat or your head. You start to get indigestion. Like I mentioned, the diarrhea, the headaches. As soon as you come outside, everything's fine. I don't have a problem. Um, you know, it's long-term consequences though, because you're functioning at a low mode energetically. And also, you're having problems as far as, you're confused. You're not thinking clearly because you're not getting proper rest and sleep. So I thought I would take a little walk. I've been trying to get outside, and I kind of, oh, look at this. Isn't this lovely? Forcing myself because you're so exhausted and you want to sleep. I ended up completely turning off the refrigerator. Give you a little panoramic here, because it was making such loud noise, and I called National Grid to turn on my power. So I don't want to be paying for power that I'm not using again. We've been through this numerous times. I'm probably not going to turn on the gas because every place I go there's a problem with the gas leaks and a problem with the stove. So I just soon have enough power to charge my phone, and I'll get food somewhere else because I'm out, another $50 worth of groceries between soda, salad, butter, some various things I brought over with me. you know. So once again, it's this constant pilfering, trafficking, modern slavery of your money until you end up back on the street, unable to afford anything. And certainly, we're rounding the corner here. Certainly, you don't even feel like you can do anything, and which is the point, to say you're incompetent, you're mentally ill. I certainly would get up in the morning at 6 a.m. I'd write for an hour and a half or so, go off to my professional job, come home at night, work 2 or 3 hours at the gym, and work on my business until the evening hours because he was on second shift. Certainly I had enough energy. I want to show the little turtles over here. I had been posting turtles, but then was crying last night. I was really bummed out because once again I was excited and I thought the turtles were a good omen, but I don't know. Then somebody come up to me and said, yeah, well, be careful of the snapping turtles. So yeah, um, you know, you start to get, your mood starts to really go downhill because, each place, you're trying to, scramble to get on your feet again. So it makes it look like you're incompetent, which is what I went through in my marriage. It must be you're making things up. I'd no sooner get going at my job and, it'd be like, oh, well, it's not working out, even though I did 3 times the work. My work was, just as good, if not better, often. Then I'd get home and he'd put me through the ringer. Oh, what's the matter with you? How come you can't seem to make friends? Certainly my in-laws would go on. And this started as soon as I got married. So it's meant to solely undermine everything you do, and in spite of that kind of sabotage and abuse. And I can go through all the jobs, the different things. And, some of those people are still around, involved with my ex-husband. And certainly it's all meant to undermine. I kept thinking, well, if it's just about money, why doesn't he let me earn as much as I can? But it's not completely about money. It's about destroying you. It's about destroying your soul, destroying your spiritual aspects, destroying any talent you have. It's a horrible, horrible crime. And I grew up with this. My mother was kind of the same way. And you often marry someone like your parent, the parent that's abusive. And I certainly did, because I found out they were having an inappropriate relationship, which totally makes sense because they're both very much the same. We'll do a little pan over here. Beautiful day. I'm feeling much better just being outside. And this is why people often don't go inside. This is why people don't rent these places. This is why people sometimes are safer on the street, even though as a woman alone, you have to weigh the risks. But what are the risks of, $3,000 again? You're talking $6,000 in 2 months. It's a lot of money for people to come up with. And then for it all to be a scam, and you're certainly still not safe. And then you certainly have this accusation that you're incompetent, that you have mental health issues. And this is part of the ongoing post-separation abuse, which should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. There should be harsher penalties because this is a form of trafficking, although it doesn't look like trafficking, does it? We think of trafficking in a third world country, women chained up in a basement working on sewing machines or something to that effect. But you can see how the money starts to add up. You can see the assets you can accumulate over a 20-year marriage and then not be able to have access to them. I have a decade now of lost wages, retirement, Social Security, numerous other assets. And certainly with the post-separation abuse, they continue. So it's continuing. Even the little bit of a settlement that I got, which I would have never settled for, I didn't sign it because it was a complete racket and stealing everything that I had, and certainly in regards to my career in business. So I'll stop there. We did a full circle, so at least we got some exercise. But I turned off the refrigerator. I'm out $50 worth of groceries again. And I had to get out of there because it was so bad. And it'll take everything I have to make it through the month. And then you're living out of suitcases again. You can't unpack. And once again, you're looking for housing. In each situation, it gets worse and worse as they keep you in this sort of hellish place, which when you grow up with nothing, you know how hell it is to make sure your papers are perfect, make sure you do everything right, make sure you constantly jump through these hoops to try to get a safe place or get a job or get a car or do the things that people that I associated with this certainly took for granted. And this is, we asked them what they did last week and they're screaming and yelling. They all wanted Trump, and now, now that he's doing what he agreed to do, it's not so funny. It's not so funny. There will be a leveling out because certainly this upward, more climbing this ladder, these people, they get out at 50, they have all this luxurious time on their hands, and this is what they sit around and do. In my hometown, certainly he got more assets and properties and all the things. I was pretty much robbed blind, and almost literally now, because I have a cataracts, I'm having problems with my eyesight every day now. So certainly this is what he's doing with his free time. And also my siblings that have special needs that never worked, had everything paid for, this is what they're sitting around doing all day with their time. Be safe, guys.